So let me ask you: is there anything you want to dig into off of your new record, or what you have?
Yeah, thinking come and see me.
Okay, this is Fred Gillen Jr. and Catherine Miles, acoustic songs live at WNJR.org, 91.7 FM.
All your expectations finally go up in smoke. When your one and only leaves you, your credit's maxed and you're broke. When up is down, left to hide. Come and see me. When all of your relations are in prison for the grave, and you can't remember what they took, only what you gave. Grateful they are gone, 'cause they can't hurt you anymore. Come and see me. Come and see me. When you've thrown yourself into the fray, but no one would fight, and your gun is cocked and loaded, but nothing is in your sights. When the Reaper came to get you, you were already half dead. Come and see me. Come and see me. I'll take your burdens, I'll take your debts, I'll take the heartache that you haven't had yet. Bring me your deepest fears, tell me your darkest sins. I'll help you see the light, I'll help you love again.
What's the name of that tune?
That's called Come and See Me.
Come and See Me, and it's off of your new CD. Tell me the title again. It's
Match Against the New Moon.
Match Against the New Moon. And where can people find it?
If they go to my website, fredgillenjr.com, Fred, GILLENJR.com, there's different ways to get it online. You can get it at a couple online stores as a CD, or you can download it.
So, do you
pretty much
sell directly from the?
And I sell mail order from the site too. I love that. Like, I grew up with indie rock records, and the label Kill Rock Stars. I remember, like, when you would order something from them, you would get a little note from the guy, and he would write a few little things. Hey man, I think you're really gonna dig this, or whatever. And it's like, yeah, I love that.
More of a personal touch, you know. So the changes in the music industry, I always like to ask about that, man. You've been doing this for, when did you start? 8 CDs I think I saw released so far?
The first solo one came out in 97, and 97, 98, 2000, 2001. I had those were my first 4 solo ones, and then the more recent ones, 3 full-length ones, and I got the Hope Machine. Before I came out of being in a rock band as a bass player in the early and mid-90s, a couple of bands, but one that was out there really doing it, and it was much different, you know. It was the early 90s, the major label thing was in full swing, and what I'd say about what's going on now is that I'd love to have a lot of sympathy for the people in the music business that are losing their jobs, but they did a lot of bad business. They really did a lot of bad business. You know, they went from vinyl to CD. It was cheaper to make CDs, and they upped the price by 60%. Right there. I mean, that's just dumb. As far, I mean, people are going to say, "Screw you! I'm making my own copy," and they're going to bootleg it. So, and who can blame them? I mean, suddenly you're paying from $10 for a record, you're paying $17, just like that.
Yeah, that was,
you know?
well then, cassette, there's
the cassette.
I was kind of in that, I was in the cassette generation kind of thing. I mean, I had tons of vinyl, but then the cassette came out, and people dubbed tapes, you know, that was the thing. And you know, if you were into the Grateful Dead, people swapped tapes, you know, people recorded Dead shows and all that kind of stuff people did, and so I don't see it as any different than that. Really, that people are just saying, "Hey, this is this really cool, you know, band that here's a copy of it," and it really didn't. The price was about the same as vinyl, if I remember correctly. That you could get a vinyl or cassette, it was the same price.
Yeah, pretty much.
But then when CDs came out, it was this big, wonderful new thing that was like supposedly, you know, better. You know, now you have guys like, you know, Jack White with Third Man Records is just putting everything right on vinyl and 45. I mean, they're recording stuff, and it's available on CD, but people are going back to the vinyl stuff. That it's actually, I don't know if it's because of, well, I mean, you can rip a vinyl record too, but I think it's more of a it's warmer. It's a different experience when you put on a record and you have to actually sit there and wait to flip it over and hear the other side. And I grew up in that generation, and it was an event. It was something that you sat down and you were going to sit there and listen to it for a half an hour. And then you would get up and go do something else. You didn't have your...
it wasn't portable.
Yeah, it wasn't portable. You didn't have... It wasn't background music. And I think, you know, that's... And plus, you know, the consolidation in the industry with the record companies. And Clear Channel and Live Nation, everybody owning everything. It's like... you know, it's a big monopoly. So well, where do you find new music though? Like stuff that you listen, like where do you?
You know, where I find new music is a couple of little radio shows in New York, and I go down to the living room to see a friend play, and I go early and hear the band before, and I stay later and hear the band after, and sometimes I get turned on to somebody that way. You know, it's those types of things. It's very much grassroots, independent things. And in my town, Peekskill, you know, there's music at the coffee house from 1 to 3 on Sundays, which is a time when I'm sometimes not gigging myself, I'm around. So I'll go down there when I see a name that I've heard of, but I've never seen them. I'll pop in there for one set and hear it. And so I get turned on to mostly independent music that way. And, you know, and then like I said, and then actually I have a couple of stepkids now, and they're grown. And like Andy will send me links to stuff. He'll say, "Hey man," because we have a lot in common about the music we love, especially Tom Waits. We both love Tom Waits. But he'll send me a link and he'll say, "Hey, check this out." So if I find something, I'll say. So it's all like word of mouth, grassroots with people I know. And you know, and as far as the doing independent thing, I mean, really what record companies did is they loaned you money.